next reader, I think of like a son. I think he's absolutely wonderful and very proud of the fact of 2 books, Life's Jejune Halls, or Thoughts of the Shuddering of the Generational Chassis, and the subsequent follow-up for Real Desiderata, Christopher P. Gazeent, absolute Renaissance man. Come on, Chris, rock us.
Thank you, Hayden. This is a 3-part poem about werewolf stories. Triskelion 1. Valknut. A fictional mythology can take cues from ancient lore, just as one spirit reaches back into the past to grab onto legends that explain a certain lack of humanity. If you listen closely into the gully, you can hear wolves howl. Magna Germania's stories have been euthanized in favor of a very different kind of trinity. 3 godheads now rule the Roman Empire: paternal, filial, and spectral. The congregants in the most secret of churches still believe in men and women who gather in covens, heathens indeed in the eyes of the aristocracy. A community founded upon homesickness towards the bestial has been connected electronically, modems and phone lines carrying the beginnings of my own spiritual heritage, so ancient yet so newly conceived. 2. Dynamic asymmetry. Remnants of the Civil War remain in digital broadcasts advertising automobiles. The guitar has sung every song it knows, and I think of the answer to every question only after it is much too late. The yellow trefoil describes chemical horrors radiating from the provenances of power, those latter-day machineries that allow one to go on writing long after the sun has set, projecting imagination into bones that grind and crack as they rearrange into a new schema of being. So much goes forgotten. If the Earth annihilates itself, I will stroll among the asteroids and comets, entreating time to fold back on itself, to halt the progress that so innocently began with men herding cattle into fields. 3. A nexus between heaven and hell. After an apocalypse, one life hardly matters, and the artificial hells we create for ourselves far outweigh the doings of any devil. To complete the spiral trifecta that balances precariously between myth and reality, a purgatory must be breached where boys become men, just as men shake off all systems that tried to tame them and return to the savage ways of the past. When the world is freed of the caution tape that has rendered inaccessible the crime scene called utopia, the concept of evolutionary generations will crumble. Just as awareness sees itself a fraternal twin of delusion, reality expands beyond the familiar into existential movie theaters where anything is possible. This is where I desire to live. All differences between the circadian and the fantastic destroyed. Thank you, and this is a poem about a monastery that I live near. A sanctuary. I am a man without a name, now completely familiar with the labyrinth. The blue heron swooping over the pond tells me that September in her old age is content to die, gently letting go of her vital energy as the gods surround her bed with last words of bereavement. I am solitary in my meditation. The escape hatch from hell is located in the temple where nuns light incense and say prayers. The nobility of reticence sees mouth closed, thus preventing the profanity of language from breaking out into a world where words do war. The lamps burn bright red and yellow, imprinting peace upon my mind. This is where Bethlehem comes to rest, a sanctuary for those whose minds desire it. When the earth has lost its stability, like a post office with all addresses redacted, now powerless to deliver the messages of peace on which we once depended. Thank you.